And now it's time to talk about Excel formulas. The first two formulas we will talk about is the sum and average, and those two formulas are considered one of the most used equations in Excel program. So if you have in Excel a column or a row, that row have numbers in it, and you wanna have the average or the sum for those numbers. Now you have number in cell A1 and number in cell A2. You need to have the average or the sum right away. Then you select those two. The sum would be 40. Instead of going to your calculator and putting that manually, you can easily find the sum and average for those values in no time in Excel. Let's jump into Excel and show you how to do that as fast as possible. So here we have a template of data, and let's say we have the projected cost over here from cell A5 all the way to A14. Now you want to know what is the sum of those data. You have many ways to do that, but before we do that, let's introduce you into the function taskbar. So here you have the cell name, as you remember before. You can see here the f of x, that's where you insert your function, and you have this bar, formula bar. So here you can plug in your formulas, but there's many ways, as easy as clicking on a certain formula to get it selected and being applied into the data that you want. Now we want to find the sum of these data. The easiest way that you can do is selecting the tab of formulas over here. Then you can select Autosum. When you select Autosum here, you will see the summation of the selected data just below your selection. So let's click on Autosum over here. Then you have the sum, and he's giving you the abbreviation Alt and equal. That will give you the sum right away. But in this case, we will select it from the formula tab. Sum over here, you can see he give you the sum with the units being used. Since we're using the $sign as a unit for those data, numbers are representing money values, then he's giving you the average over here for the data. Another easier way to find the sum, you can select your data and you wait for your quick analysis tool over here, or you click on Control Q. I click on the quick analysis tool that you see here. I can choose the totals. You can see those tabs, so you can choose the totals. Then from totals, I can choose the sum, and you can see the sum start to show over there. So that's a second way. And the third way to do that, you can go to the cell where you want the result to show up, and you click on the equal sign, and you start to write the sum, S-U-M. As you start to do that, the Excel software will start to give you suggestions. And you can see here there is a function called sum. So click on that or write sum. Then he will open parentheses and he give you a guide. In this way, he's telling you the guide of the formula. Like he say the sum, number 1, the number 2, 3, and etc. So you need to choose which numbers that you need to have or to find the sum for them. In this case, we will select at this point the data that we need the sum for. So either you can manually see A5, A6, A7, A8, and so on, or in this case C5, C6, C7, C8, and so on, or you can just left click and drag all the way down to the data that you want. Then you close the parentheses of the equation and you hit enter. Now we learned how to find the sum. What if we want to learn how to find the average? Same thing, you select the data that you want, you go to the Autosum drop down menu over here, and you select average, and he will give you average on the next cell after the data that you selected. Another way, you can on the quick access or quick analysis tool, you go to totals, then you select average. He will show it to you in the same manner. Third way, you can go to the cell where you want to put your average result in, you hit on equal sign, then you start to type average, and the code for the average equation is by writing the word average, as you can see from the suggestions over here. Click on average, he tell you number 1, 2, 3. So now you're ready to select the data that you want to find the average for. When you finish, close parentheses. Not necessary, but it's good to do that for your future reference if you have your equation being a little more complicated than this, but that's fine. You can hit enter. You will get your final results right away. A fourth very easy and hidden way somehow is by selecting the data that you want to find the average or the sum for, and you look down to the right bottom corner of your screen. you can find the sum for the data that you selected, the count, and the average. So that's the easiest way ever to find that. So if you go to the next column, select the data you want, he gives you the sum for them, the average, and the count. As simple as that. Moving forward, we'll have more equations and have more details about how to apply those equations by using Excel tools.